So I'm here to talk about the Batman and Harley Quinn animated film that was just released. Now, I'm going to do a non-spoiler review, then I'm going to do a spoiler review. I was attracted and wanted to watch this movie because it is produced by the same team who did Batman the Animated Series. It's got Bruce Timm, it's got Kevin Conroy, it's got the original guy back as Robin, Nightwing. I think it's got Paul Dini's back as well. It's got the original animation style. It looks very cool. It surprises me that I was attracted to watch it, because usually if it has Harley Quinn in the title, I'm not really interested. Don't get me wrong, I like the character of Harley Quinn, but I like her as a side character in a children's television program. Okay, I don't want her as a main character. I don't want her as a hero. I want her as a comedic foil for Batman, Robin, and the Joker. And she's great in that role. And I want her in non horribly inappropriate situations. And then I like her. Okay? But as a main character in what they've been turning her into of late, not a fan. Okay? So I was interested in this movie because of the aforementioned things. This is non-spoiler review, so let me just get it out of the way. Let me give you my rating. My rating is, don't watch this. Don't watch it. I know some of you have curiosity and you're thinking to yourselves, I might want to watch that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just resist. Don't watch it. This is a terrible, terrible movie. It's tied for the worst DC animated movie with that Suicide Squad 1, the Assault on Arkham movie. It's not good. Now, some reasons why, some non-spoilery reasons why, the choices that they make in this movie, it doesn't know what tone it wants. Now, I understand that they made it for a different tone. They did this on purpose. They wanted it to be a different tone, because it's a comedy. It's a for whatever reason, that's what they wanted to do. And that's fine. Batman doesn't need to be one tone all the time. Obviously, we have Christopher Nolan Batman, and we have Adam West Batman. It's different tones. It's still Batman. It's fine. It's whatever. But this movie, it's taking the characters, basically, from the animated series, and they are characterized the same, and yet they get the character, like, they suddenly switch at certain moments into a completely ridiculous characterization of them that would not happen based on what we've seen before, and based on who we know these characters to be and how they're actually portrayed in this film. Suddenly it shifts on a dime, and it's different, and it's done poorly, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you can't do a comedic Batman thing. I'm just saying they took a misstep here, I believe. It's rated PG-13, and it could be rated PG-13 easily for the language alone. But even if you took out all the language, it still could easily retain its PG-13 rating for the sexual content and innuendo throughout. And then there's the humor, okay? 75% of the jokes in this movie fall flat for me. And I think they fall flat because most of them are making plays on stuff that I just find inappropriate and not funny. There was a joke that did make me laugh a lot, and I will talk about that in the non-spoiler section. Is it worth it to watch the movie for the jokes that may or may not be funny? In my opinion, no. Don't watch it. Just skip it. Yeah. Is there anything else I can say that's non-spoilery that will somehow convince you to just stay away? Just stay away. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. I rented this thing. I paid $4 to watch it. Regret it. Absolutely regret it. Whatever you do, don't buy it. And I would, you know my opinion. No, I've said it several times. So take it or leave it. This is not Batman the Animated Series. It's not that. And don't go into it thinking that. Don't show your kids this. It's wildly inappropriate. All right, we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna go with the non-spoiler. I'm gonna go with the spoiler section. So here comes the spoiler organ. Okay, I'm not gonna sing the whole thing. But yeah, spoiler section. So if you still, for some reason, want to see this, okay, here, don't watch it anymore, this review, because I'm going to spoil stuff, okay? So, and also, the rest of the spoiler section, I'm going to go ahead and give the spoiler section a PG-13 warning, because I'm going to talk about some mature things that are in this movie, starting now. So, for instance, the huge turnoff was that they have a highly sexually explicit scene between Harley Quinn and, Nightwing. And when I say highly sexually explicit, I'm not talking Game of Thrones or Titanic. There's no nudity, but there might as well be, with the amount of curvature and detail they put into Harley Quinn's body. And I mean, they go to places that I don't think they've gone, like, as far as innuendo wise, that they've gone thus far, at least not in anything related to, not anything remotely related to the DC animated universe with, you know, Batman the Animated Series and so on. So just please be aware of that. It was not good. And I read a review that another fan posted about it, and they were saying, you know, basically this is the producers taking their wildly inappropriate fan fiction ideas and putting them on the screen. And please, please, please stop. So, and I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. This situation, if these were the comic book characters, I don't care what iteration of comic book characters, unless it's the parallel evil universe, this would never, ever happen. It wouldn't happen. So, it just doesn't fit. It's weird. Okay, let's talk about some more of the stuff that I didn't like. Like I said, the characterization flips on a dime. Basically, the story is, it's Poison Ivy and this other plant guy who's not Swamp Thing, and their plan is to take the Swamp Thing formula and use it to turn the entire human population into plant hybrid humans, kind of like they are. They want to do this so that humans will finally care about the environment and stop their pollution, because they will be part of the environment that will die because of the pollution. So they would all have a vested interest in that. So not a bad plan, actually, Poison Ivy and whatever your name is. Not a bad plan, except for the fact that if they get one, you know, decimal point wrong in their calculations, it will kill every living thing, animal and plant alike, on the planet. So Batman's not going to let that happen. And to get Poison Ivy, they go and they get Poison Ivy's BFF, Harley, and they need her help. So from there, quote-unquote, hilarity ensues. Like I said, it's totally different. You can tell right off the bat with the opening credits, which are styled after a Bewitched / I Dream of Jeannie opening credit sequence with Batman, Harley Quinn, and Nightwing. So right off the bat, you're like, okay, this is different, and they use some of that humor that's some, you know, throughout, and it just doesn't fit with the story that they're trying to tell, and with the characters that they're using. If this was like a Teen Titans Go style Batman, where it's clearly not the Kevin Conroy animated series Batman, it could work, but it's not. And if the jokes weren't so wildly inappropriate, it could work. I mean, and they're very long and drawn out, the jokes. They're long and drawn out, and it's like all building to this punchline that's just not funny. Like, there's a whole scene where Harley Quinn is singing karaoke badly, and it goes on for like 4 minutes. And that's the whole joke, is that she's singing karaoke badly, and it's just not, I didn't laugh at all. I didn't think it was funny at all. I actually fast-forwarded that part because it wasn't funny. And, what else oh yeah, the ending. Here comes the spoilers for the ending. So Swamp Thing shows up, and this is why Ben wants to watch this movie, because Swamp Thing is in it. Is it worth it to watch it because Swamp Thing is in it? No. Because Swamp Thing shows up at the end, and you're thinking it's going to be a Deus Ex Machina, where, you know, Batman and Robin have been easily taken out by the bad guys, like far too easily, and the bad guy's going to go dump the evil thing and pollute the world. But then Swamp Thing shows up, and he's like, you should not do this because it will upset the balance. You know, he's a super ultra powerful Swamp Thing guy. But then he's like, but it's not my place to interfere, so goodbye. So then he leaves, and Batman and Robin are like, what? No, no. What the heck was that? And then Harley's like, we could just set him on fire. And then Batman and Robin, they look at themselves and look at Harley, and then they kiss Harley on the cheeks, and she winks, and that's the end of the movie. They don't resolve it. We don't get to see them catch the bad guy. The end of the movie is a punchline where Harley suggests setting a man on fire, and Batman and Robin smile, and then they kiss her on the cheeks. Like, oh, what a rascal. And that's the end! And then there's another dumb part in the ending, because Harley's trying to convince Poison Ivy to come back to their side and be good and not kill everybody. And the way that she does it, the way that she defeats Poison Ivy, is she takes off her mask and gives her the puppy dog eyes, which Ivy can't take. And she turns back to the good side. It's Teen Titans Go stuff that they're pulling out in the middle of what appears to be like half the movie is serious Batman DC Animated Universe stuff. It's just not a good movie. It's not a good movie, and it's not worth going through just because of the filthy content also. It's just weird and inappropriate, and it lingers for far too long on stuff that it shouldn't linger on. And then, okay, I will tell, all right, this is the one positive thing, okay? This is the one funny part that I was really laughing at. And, I mean, is it worth it for this part? No. Again, go check it out on YouTube if there's an official clip. Or if your friend is mistakenly watching it, the misguided soul beside you is watching it on his iPad, and he's like, hey, watch this part, it's funny. Maybe watch that, but then immediately break eye contact. It's... While they've got Harley in the Batmobile and they're driving in, and she's like, wait, stop the car, that guy! And they think she's pointing to a suspect. So she goes out, and it turns out it's not a suspect, it's a guy who dumped her at the prom. So then she's back in the car, and they're driving, and Batman's like, if you ever do that again, we're done. And so they had eaten she had eaten stuff before, so she's like, you really need to stop the car, because I had a bunch of burritos earlier, and I need to, take a break. And Batman's like, no, we're not stopping again. So Harley's like, okay. And then she just starts ripping really long and loud farts in the back seat. And, like, Nightwing's like, oh! And that was funny. And Batman's just trying to, keep it together. He's like, no, I'm not gonna... Hey, a possum. Anyway, Batman's trying to keep it together. And then she does it again, and he's like... And then pulls over. So that was funny. I laughed. That was it. That was the only, like... That's my review, guys. It's my review. I have almost nothing but negative things to say about the movie. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, though. Feel free to send in a rebuttal, comment on the video, send it into the podcast. We'll read it on there. So yeah, that's my review. That's my warning. Don't waste your money. All right. Have a good night and go watch something good. There's a lot of Batman stuff that's good. And that's not this. And just because it's shiny and new doesn't mean we need to partake. Because I think it would be a waste of your time and money. Anyway, all right, I've said it. I repeated it. Goodbye. Godspeed.